Definitely characters. I think if a book doesn't have like interesting characters, no amount of plot is going to make it interesting. I don't know if this counts, but I just watched a film called Fire Island on Disney Plus, which is based on Pride and Prejudice, but it's about this group of 5 gay men going to Fire Island and having like a party holiday. And it's like really cleverly based on Pride and Prejudice, and like every way that they've like adapted that story is just so perfect. It's like one of the best kind of classic book adaptations or book twists that I've ever seen, so highly recommend that. I love Pride and Prejudice. Like, I've literally just talked about it, but like Pride and Prejudice is such a classic romance. It's just so funny, and like it still feels so relevant to the modern day. So I'll go with Pride and Prejudice. Artemis Fowl was my favourite book series as a child, but when I was in my teens, I was very obsessed with The Catcher in the Rye. I think I just really liked the voice of the narrator. It wasn't like any book I'd read before, just like a really engaging voice. Not necessarily likable, but just really honest and like raw about his feelings. And I'd never read a book like that before. I'm a big fan of Friends to Lovers. For me, that's just like the ultimate like romance where you're like best friends with someone who you fall in love with. Like, I just never get tired of reading about that. Yeah, well, I think there's not many stories about being asexual out there, and it'll be really, really nice to see more of that. There's sort of strides being made in young adult fiction, but it would be good to see that also on TV and in films, because there's hardly any at the moment. And also more trans stories. There's quite a few out there, but still not as many as I think there should be. So yeah, either of those, yeah. Probably like Elle. She's really into arty stuff and like fashion, and I feel like we could go on a really fun day out together, like to a gallery or something like that. In the comics, it's the first kiss. I think that's one of the best scenes in the comics, just from the way it's written and the way it's drawn. In the show, however, my favourite scene is the one where it's episode 4, where Nick has come to Charlie's house in the rain, and it's when Charlie just kind of hugs Nick and like is like comforting him. Yeah, that's my favourite. Well, it wasn't really my idea. I think it was just sort of everyone deciding that like I should have a little cameo in the show. And I was really nervous about it because I'm not an actor and I didn't want to have to do anything like that involved much acting. Like, I didn't want any close-ups of my face or anything like that, but I'm really, really happy with what we decided to do because it's just very subtle. I'm just sitting there. There's not that much attention on me, so yeah, it was good. That's such a horrible question. Do you know what? I would probably pick Alid, and that's because he already has his own story in a different one of my books, Radio Silence. So he doesn't have a lot to do in Heartstopper really, because he's already got his own story elsewhere. So as adorable as he is, I think we could probably survive without him. That is impossible. People ask me that quite often and there's just no way I can choose. I'm sorry. Joyful, hopeful, and comforting.